in Sanaa in 1996. Before her ordination, she was a renowned university professor. She has authored and translated about 10 books on Buddhism and written many articles for famous Buddhist publications such as Visa Lipi and Visa Sirisara. Venerable is a keen meditator. Her master thesis for the postgraduate in Buddhism was this meditation. For her PhD thesis was on the Bhikkhuni Vinaya. Venerable has traveled a lot and giving in Dharma talks. And today Venerable will be sharing with us on the topic, Impermanence, Non-Self, Cause for Unsatisfactoriness in Life. So I'd like to pass the mic over to Venerable.
We will observe the 5 precepts. Please chant Namo Tassa with me. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Panatipata Veramani. Atinadana Kamesu Michachara. Musavada Surameraya Majjapama Dattana. Sadhu, sadhu. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gaccantu Devata. Saddhammang Muni Rajasa Sunantu Sakkamukkadam. Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Badanta. Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang badanta Dhammasavana kalo Ayang badanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Anicca vata sankhara upada vaya dhammino upajitva nirujjanti tesang upa samosukho. Friends in the Dhamma, it's a great opportunity for us to meet here and discuss the Dhamma this morning. So I thank you for being here, and the topic for today is impermanence, non-self. Cause for unsatisfactoriness in life. So there are many things for us to think about. Maybe we will have a long question time, so you will ask me many questions because I can't say all of it. Maybe I can say a little bit of an introduction. The topic is impermanence. What is permanence? What is impermanence? Permanent, impermanent. Something that is changing is impermanent. Always changing. Not the same for 2 consecutive moments. Always changing. That is impermanent. If it is not changing, it is permanent. That means that it cannot change. It means that it is permanent. If it is changing all the time, it is impermanent. And non-self, cause for unsatisfactoriness. Non-self really means nothing belongs. But it is a vast topic because we believe that certain things belong. We think that the body belongs, my body, my head, my everything, my hand. And we think my car, my child, my husband, my wife, all of it you think, my house, belongs. Everything we believe, it belongs, so many things. And according to the law of the land, it belongs. According to the worldly law, it belongs. If there is no worldly law, then nothing belongs. That is what the Buddha saw. If there is a worldly law, then it belongs. But if there is no worldly law, you can do nothing about it. We will try to see more about this ownership. And that is the non-self nature. Non-self nature speaks about the lack of ownership of any description. Nothing belongs. Can you understand that? We will try to understand. I think we spoke about it earlier also. Anyway, this is impermanence. That is, everything is changing. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is unchanging. Everything is changing. And everything is non-self. Not me, not mine, does not belong. Cause for unsatisfactoriness. And then they say that that is the cause for unsatisfactoriness. Because things change, it becomes unsatisfactory. If they don't change, it is satisfactory. Can you understand that? If your pain and suffering doesn't change, is that satisfactory? Something wrong somewhere. It's good if the pain and unhappiness will change, because then it will be without pain and without unhappiness. It will be happiness, huh? So all these things we have to discuss and find out what they mean by impermanence, by non-self, and what they mean by unsatisfactoriness. So the Buddha always said, you look at your mind and body and you know the world. Can you understand that? Because it's with the mind that we see the world. If the mind is out of function, we don't know the world. For instance, if you are sleeping, or if you are unconscious, or if you are in your mother's womb, you are so small and weak. Is there any world? The world appears only if your eye starts working. Then the world of sights appear. If you are not deaf and you can hear, then the world of sound appears. If you are blind, there is no world of sight. If you can smell, then there is a world of smell. If you can taste, then there is a world of taste. If you can touch, bodily touch, you can get the feeling of touch. Then there is a world of contact and touch, happiness, unhappiness. All of it is there. So the whole world is what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we touch. If I cannot see this, if I cannot hear this, or if I cannot smell this, or taste this, or touch this, then this does not exist. So the world exists only as far as you can see, or hear, or smell, or taste, or touch. And with our 5 faculties, we are seeing the world, we can recognize the world, and the world appears. But if you are sleeping, or if you are unconscious, there is no world. So, if we can understand what our mind and body is, the mind also, because if there is no mind, that means you are unconscious, no world. The body alone cannot see the world. The mind also must be there. Together the mind and body can see the world. So now if we know what the world, what the mind is, and how the mind is working, and if you know how the body is working, then you know what the world is. Because it is through the mind and body that we see. So all the construction of the world is through our mind and body. Our mind and body is constructing a happy world, an unhappy world, a permanent world, an unsatisfactory world. All of it is a construct of your mind and body. But when we want to see the world, do we look at our mind and body, or do we go to America, England? You want to see the world, you go to places. Huh? You go to India, you go to Sri Lanka to see the world. But the Buddha said, your world is within this mind and body system. If it is there, the world is there. If it is not there, there is no world. So, to see the world, you don't have to go all those places. You can see the world by seeing your mind and body. Then you know what the world is about. So these are very, very important ideas, very scientific, very logical, and very easy to understand. There is no abstruse logic or science and technology that defies human understanding. Anybody, Buddha spoke very ordinary stuff, obvious things. He didn't speak high technology. He spoke to ordinary people, uneducated people on the road, and they could understand. So I don't see why any one of us cannot understand this. So now, the impermanence, non-self, the cause for unsatisfactoriness. So now we have to see what impermanence is. Is the body permanent or impermanent? Is the mind permanent or impermanent? So we can make a start there. It's the body and mind that is doing all this trick of arising of the world and the disappearing of the world. Is the world impermanent or is it the same world? Is the body permanent or impermanent? So what is impermanent? We will take them one by one, then we can understand better. Look at the body, is it permanent? Is it the same body? Even for 2 consecutive moments, is it the same body? It appears to be, this is, I saw him last year and so many years ago. This is the same tree, I saw it, the same boat tree. So many years ago also I saw the same tree. Is it true? Is it the same tree? No. I saw it 50 years ago also, this tree. Is it the same? All the leaves have fallen, new leaves have come. The bark and the roots and the branches, they are all gone, and new branches, new leaves, new everything. Is it the same tree? It appears to be the same tree, but it is not the same tree. Now we look at the flame, the idea of the flame. There is a flame here burning. Is it the same flame that you see all the time? Is it the same flame? Yes or no? Is it a different flame or is it the same flame? Same? No? What's happening? We will look at it carefully. What happens in the flame? A drop of oil gets heated to ignition point and it flares up and burns and produces a flame. But immediately it burns out. You don't see it burning out. Before that, the next drop of oil has got heated to ignition point and it flares up. And before it burns out, the next drop of oil heats up to ignition point and that flares up and it burns out. But what we see is a continuous flame. If you can see it in slow motion, maybe you can see it burning and burning out, again burning and burning out. But we don't see it. We see only the flame. And then we believe that it is the same flame. But at the end of the day, you find the oil has disappeared. Then you know for sure that the oil has got burnt out. But the usual idea that people have is that it is the same flame. What it appears to be is that it's the same flames, same tree, same body. Is it the same body? Is it? What was our first body like? How big was our first body? I always speak about it, then you can understand better. Our first body was conceived in the mother's womb, and it was microscopic, and that was not our body. We didn't bring it into the world. That was a gift from your mother and father, the fertilized ovum. That is the first body. And it was microscopic. You can't see it. That's your first body. You didn't bring this. It came from the world, from the mother and father. And then when it starts growing, becoming multicellular, and inside the womb it grows into hands and feet and a human form. And then you die. When you die, do you take the body away? You just leave it there. Someone has to carry that for you. So, you didn't bring the body into the world. You are not taking it away. And it is not the same body. How much it has changed. Every moment it is changing. How many tons of food have we eaten and digested, and it has become our body? How much water we have drunk and it has become our body, my body. How much air we have breathed and it has become my body. And how much heat from the outside. If there is no heat, you will be frozen dead. If there is too much heat, you will be burned to ash. So the right amount of heat you must have. So every time outside things are being incorporated into the body, then is it the same body? Is the body changing? Every time these things come inside, they change. Every moment new cells are being formed, old cells die. There is a growth process and there is a decaying process. And it is called anabolism and catabolism. Together it is called metabolism. So there is a growth process and a declining process, dying process. So is the body the same? Not for one moment. Only thing is that when the body dies, the cells die, what arises is identical to the ones that died. They look the same. So you think it is the same, just like the flame. Every bit of the flame, they look alike. So you think it is the same, just like that. Every body cell that arises and passes away, they look alike, but they are not the same. Can you understand that? That is what the Buddha saw as impermanence. So it appears to be the same because those cells that break down and those that arise are identical, more or less identical, not entirely. If it is entirely identical, we will never grow old. Every cell is a bit different from the first cell. That's why we are a growth process and old age and sickness and death. Because what arises is not identical, not completely identical, but maybe a little differential. Now do we see the impermanence of the body? Yeah? That the body is not the same for 2 consecutive moments? So we have to keep looking at this. So, but how many times a day do you say, my body, and think that it is the same body? But we think that it is the same body when it is not the same body. It is changing every moment. But it appears to be the same body. So it's a big, we are being deceived by what we see. Because we can't see correctly. We can't see that this is changing all the time. Just like we can't see that the flame is changing all the time. That is what we mean by impermanence of the body. And the impermanence of the mind also. Mind is also changing. Is it the same mind? Every moment your mind is changing. Happy mind, unhappy mind. To come here, you had a mind, I want to come here. And after this you will have a mind to go. My mind wants to go. My mind wants to sit. My mind wants to stand. My mind wants to look this way and that way. My mind wants to listen. Every time the mind is changing. The listening mind is not the seeing mind. The standing mind and the walking mind is different from the seated mind. Mind is changing. Mind must say sit down, then only it can sit down. If the mind says stand, then the body will stand. Mind says walk up to the door, and the body will walk up to the door. If the mind doesn't say don't walk up, you sit here and listen to this talk, then the body will sit down and listen to the talk. If the mind says useless this talk, you get up and go away, then the body will get up and go away. Now what's happening? The mind is telling the body, mind is also changing. Body is also changing. Now do you see the impermanence of the mind and body? It's not the same. That's what the Buddha said. So the Buddha said the mind is changing, the body is changing. But because we cannot understand, we think it is the same mind, we think it is the same body. So that is impermanence. And outside, is it permanent? You will see that the chairs, everything, they look permanent. This chair, this building we saw last year, 10 years ago also we saw this building. Nothing has changed, we say that. Why is that? Why is it that nothing has changed? Because the causes and conditions are there, it will stay. If there was a tsunami or there was a cyclone or some bomb and the causes and conditions are not there, what will happen to the building? So you see, because causes and conditions are there, we think this is there. The moment they are not there, there will be no building. Eventually, maybe after 100 years or 500 years, this building will not be there. Everything will perish. It's a question of causes and conditions. So if the causes and conditions are good and favorable, the body will stay. If the causes and conditions are not good, you have eaten the wrong kind of food or some poison, or you have fallen off your ladder or something, causes and conditions are not right, your body will go. So, what we believe as permanent, real, unchanging, me, I, you, all of it, any of it, cannot be considered permanent. They are permanent as far as such causes and conditions are there. When they are not there, they just dissipate. So, our body is that. If there is no air, what will happen to the body? This morning there was no water. If there is no water, what will happen to the body? It might stay for a little time, not like air. Air, if you don't have for 5 minutes, you will die. Water, maybe because there is enough water to we can stay for 1 or 2 days. If there is no food, you die. Causes and conditions are keeping you alive. So there is enough food to last for about 3-4 days, so you won't die. If there is no heat, you die. So, because these causes and conditions are there, you appear to be well and you appear to be the same person. But it is only an appearance. So when you think of it deeply, you understand that life is what it appears to be, but it is not. So it appears to be my body. But can I do what I want? My body, how much of attention it needs? You have to wash it, clean it, bathe it, and then morning ablutions, so many things. Otherwise, what happens to my body? My body will be out of commission. If you misuse your body, if you eat the wrong thing or you hear the wrong thing, what happens to your mind? So long as everything is nice and comfortable, the mind keeps going. The moment you hear something wrong, somebody abusing you, the moment you see something you don't like, what happens to the mind? Or you smell or taste or touch, then what happens to the mind? So the conditions and causes are good, and then the mind and body will stay. When those conditions are out, the mind is changing, body is changing. So we can't stop this. That is the trial. That is the non-self nature. Can I stop this changing system? Because it all depends on the outside, beyond my control. The air, water, outside, heat, everything, beyond my control. So I can't change this. I can't stop this changing system. That means I am subject to it. That means I am not the owner. If I am the owner, I can do anything I like. Now I am asking you a question. Am I the owner of this body, or am I the keeper or the servant? This body, am I the owner or the servant? Think. If I am the owner, it's my body, I am the owner? No. We'll give you question time, then you must ask me questions. Just at the moment, we can only say yes or no. If I am the owner, I can do exactly what I want. I can't do that. If there is no comb and there is no water and no soap for 1 week, what will happen to you? You are the owner. You won't be able to live for 1 week. To be so bad, so dirty. No soap, no water, no comb. Luckily you have everything. So therefore you think it is me and I. Because of outside things, luckily we have enough combs, all plastic combs and water on tap, and soap is very easy. So we think this is my body. What happens to my body? It will be so dirty, you won't be able to even live with your body. No way. You can't even live. So, if not for the outside, is there any life or me? What happens to me? Me goes for a 6 if there is no outside. So many supports. How many million supports for this system to exist? They have to grow food, they have to transport, they have to sell, they have to wash, clean, cook, and they have to eat and digest, and then only the system keeps going. If any of those things are not there, system will not work. If your digestion is imperfect, if there is nothing to cook, there is no transport, no food, no supermarket. So how many million things are we depending on to have our body permanent or impermanent? So now I am asking you, are you the owner of this body, or are you the servant of this body? Whole time you have to keep doing things for the body. If you are the owner, you don't have to do anything. You just, owner never, servant is not the owner any day. Servant is the servant, owner is the owner. Where is the ownership of the body? And where is the ownership of the mind? My mind. When they get angry, they say, I know my mind. You don't know. Is that right? I know my mind. Is it right? Do you know your mind? Those are things you use. My mind is changing all the time. My mind is angry. It's true that the others don't understand that my mind is angry. But my mind is it the angry mind, my mind? Is it the happy mind that is my mind? It is the quiet mind that is my mind? Is the sleeping mind my mind? Whole thing, the mind is changing. Which mind is my mind? All of it or nothing? None of it. All of it is my mind. Then every time the mind changes, I change. Changing me all the time. When mind is changing, me changing. When the body is changing, me changing. Is that right? Now what's happening? This is what the impermanence of the body and the mind is. So everything is changing, impermanent. But we are so proud, we think it's my mind. We even don't know that my mind is changing. We think it is my body. My mind, my body. So the non-self nature is an inbuilt structure in this changing mind and changing body. So nothing can you say is me and mine, except that it is for worldly convention, for speech, for language, because we have to use language, otherwise we cannot be understood. So I have to say my body, you have to say your body, his body, hers, yours, ours. All that is language convention. But there is no permanent me or you or I. They are all changing. So, the cause of unsatisfactoriness, isn't that the cause for unsatisfactoriness? You cannot keep it the way you want. It is beyond you. The mind changes much against your will and pleasure. You don't want to be unhappy, but something there, something of the past or the future will come to your mind and you are unhappy. Now, why? Because the mind is changing sometimes and therefore it makes you unhappy. If the mind doesn't change, then maybe you can have one good thought and it doesn't change and you are happy. Can you stay with one good thought without changing? Then you will be happier. The moment you raise a good thought, immediately it falls away. So it's a question of again and again and again raising a good thought. The good thought doesn't last because the mind is changing so fast. So again and again you have to produce a good thought. Otherwise it doesn't stay. Like the flame will not last if again and again you don't supply the oil. So you have to keep on supplying good thoughts, good thoughts, good thoughts, good thoughts. Then only you might feel a little bit happier. If you don't supply that system, it won't work. And also you must have a never-ending supply of good things to see, good things to smell, good things to hear, good things to touch, good things for the tongue, tasting. Can you have a never-ending supply of only good things? Can you? The outside world is not going to supply you only good things, because when the eye is open, you are open to all good and bad. When the ear can hear all good things and bad things. So how can you have only good things? For one thing, the world doesn't supply. And another thing, whatever it gives, you are subject to it. You have no ownership to pick and choose. So you are at the mercy of the world, you are at the mercy of your eye and ear and eye and your faculties. They are the supply system. So where is me? Big problem. So when you understand the deeper realities of life and living, you understand that there is no me and I in this. That it is a question of facing up to the reality of life. Outside is changing, impermanent. Body is changing, impermanent. Mind is changing, impermanent. Everything in a flux. So how to meet this? Isn't that the problem with unsatisfactoriness? Will your wife stay good all the time? Will your husband stay good all the time? Your children? They are a supply system that makes you happy. My children, my wife, she'll run away with someone else, then what happens to my wife or my husband? So where is the ownership? or she'll die, or he will die, or he will not obey you. If it is mine, they must obey you. You are the master. Does she obey you, or does he obey you? And you are the master, you are the owner. Everything is going. Why? Her mind is changing, your mind is changing. So her speech is changing, her actions are changing. Your mind is changing, your speech is changing, your action is changing. When your mind is good, then your speech and action is good. When your mind is bad, then your speech and action is bad. When your wife's mind is good, her speech and action is good. When your husband's wife's mind is good, his speech and action is good. When his mind is bad, speech and action bad. So that's complete. Where is the ownership? Can you say this is me and I and mine? Big problem. So the Buddha saw through this. And he said everything is impermanent. Don't believe it. Don't take it. Don't think that it is going to be permanent. Your body is impermanent. His body, her body impermanent. And understand the reality of it. Don't be foolish. Don't think she is going to stand up to you. Don't think that he is going to stand up to you. They will change. I will change. Then where is the guarantee that you will be me and I and mine? Even I have no power over my own mind or my own body. Much against my will and pleasure, my body becomes old and dies. Much against, I don't want to be unhappy, but much against my will and pleasure, my mind becomes unhappy, depressed. My mind becomes fearful. My mind becomes angry and violent. My mind becomes crying and wanting. My mind becomes this and that. I don't like it. But it happens. Where is my mind? These are the real facts of life which we have to understand, and then we come to terms with life. Then do you expect other people to stay permanent and serve you, or will you expect things to change? Will you be disturbed if they change? Will it come as a surprise when they change? You will take it. It is normal. Everybody is changing. Every moment. Every thought is changing. Every outside thing is changing. They appear to be not changing because the causes and conditions are there. Your wife will not change if you are kind and generous and loving and caring all the time. The moment you can't do that, she will change. Your husband will not change so long as you will be caring and sharing and loving and every minute of the day, because that's what he wants. If he gets everything he wants, then he won't change. But it can't be happening. I remember the famous story that Venerable Sing Yung, he is a master, one of the famous masters in Taiwan. One woman came crying and said that her husband has gone away with another man, and she was crying and crying. And then the master Sing Yung, he said, all because you don't love him. You have to give love to get love. If you don't give love, you won't get love. He doesn't love you because you don't love him. So she scolded her. So this woman cried, she went home and thought, yeah, I will change, I will love him. Because I want him, I will love him. So now she changed, and the whole day long she tried to please him. She trying her best to please him and doing all the things and nice things to please him. Then suddenly the man said, how is it that you are changed? You are not like this. You were fighting and quarreling and blaming and hurting. Now you have changed. You're so nice and comfortable. He said, I met Venerable Master Singh. He told me I have to give love to get love. So that's why I have changed. And that's the time the man stopped going to see another woman, because he knew that this woman loves her. So therefore he doesn't want another woman. He was satisfied with her. So you see, you have to keep on providing the proper condition to maintain. If you don't provide the proper condition, you can't maintain. So money can be a condition, love can be a condition, caring and sharing can be a condition. All these things. So if you don't provide all those things, that means that system won't work. It will break down. So when you know the nature of the mind, when you know the nature of the body, then you know how to deal with it. You know how to deal with your mind, you know how to deal with other people's minds. So will you be surprised if other people are scolding and frustrated? Or will you be surprised if you are unhappy and frustrated? Because the conditions are not there and these things are beyond us. We have to depend on outside to make our own happiness. If they don't give the happiness, we are finished. So the Buddha said, when you know what it is, you won't expect too much from the world. But there is a way out. How? You can produce your own happiness in spite of the world. How? If you give up your clinging and longing to the world, and you sit with cross-legged and do your meditation, and one fine day you will be concentrated and you will get into jhana, and you will have intense pleasure from your purified mind. Your mind will be going into jhana, and priti, sukha, ekagata, concentrated mind is bringing you all your pleasure. Then you will not want the outside world to support you, because you are happy with your own mind. Wherever you go, you have a lovely mind. So even if people scold you, or blame you, or hurt you, your mind does not change, because you have your inner pleasure, which you can construct in spite of the world. So your happiness does not come from the outside world, it comes from your inner purified mind. But that too is subject to condition. So it means you have to do meditation, you can't just get a purified mind. And that's not easy. So it's a question of how much happiness you want, how much satisfaction you have, whether you can get all of what you want, or where you are satisfied with whatever you get, and you are not complaining anymore. There is no Lord or God Almighty who is providing. That's something we have to understand. It's we ourselves that create all the help. Think of all, every time you think a thought, you create a thought that was not there before. Every time you speak a word, you create a word that was not there before. And that word gets into the environment, into the atmosphere. Every time you do a deed, you do this and this, you do an action, a deed that was not there before. It's a new deed. So how many thoughts do we do in a day? How much words do we speak in a day? And how many deeds do we do in a day? Now tell me, it can be good it can be bad. You can have good thinking, and it will be such a help for the world. Good words, good deeds. Or you can do bad thinking, bad speech, bad deeds. And that will be so difficult for you and for the world. Isn't all the world, the happiness, unhappiness, created by thinking and speech and action? All the happiness that is in the world is because of people's good thoughts. They have created good thinking, created good words and good deeds. All the unhappiness in the world is because of the creation of bad thoughts, bad words and bad deeds. So can you blame anybody for this? We are our own creators. We can create good thoughts, good words, good deeds, or we can create bad thoughts, bad words, bad deeds. Up to you. You can create a good world, a nice, harmonious world, or you can create a miserable world, fighting and killing with our prides and prejudices. So now I think we nearly came to the end of the session. We have a few minutes more. I want you to ask me many questions, and then you will see how we are the cause of unsatisfactoriness. We ourselves, by our thinking, by our speech, by our action. Our reaction to the world is what causes the unsatisfactoriness. Yeah, we will ask many questions.
Okay, open up the session for Q&A now. Are there any questions from the brothers and sisters you'd like to forward to Venerable Bhikkhuni Kusuma? Any questions?
Yeah.
Talking about karma, nobody is the karma located in the physical body.
The karma?
Where is the karma located?
He wants to ask a question about karma. Where is it located? Well, I can give you a nice answer for that. Where is karma located? Karma we create all the time. Every time we think a thought, we create karma. Every time we speak a word, we create karma. Every time you do some action, we create karma, good or bad or indifferent. So we are creating karma all the time. Sometimes good karma, sometimes bad karma. Sometimes indifferent. So now I want to know. Now he wants to know where is karma located. Where is it located? How to answer that question? Now think of a tree, maybe a mango tree or pepper tree or something. Suddenly you find when the conditions are there, the flowers appear. And when the conditions are good, there is moisture, water, everything is good, sunlight, then the flower will fade and a small fruit will appear. Then when the conditions are right, the fruit will appear. Now can you say that that fruit was located inside the tree? Or can you say it's happened because of causes and conditions? Just like that. The karma cannot be located, but they manifest when there are causes and conditions. Vipaka manifests when there are causes and conditions. Vipaka is the result of karma. Actually, karma means two things. Karma is the karma in the making, that is thinking, speaking and doing, that is karma in the making. Vipaka is the result of such action, result of such thinking, result of such speech, result of some such action. That is the result. So actually what he wants to know is how the results appear. Results appear only when there is a condition for it. If there is no condition, it cannot appear. So we create conditions for bad results to appear. When we are fighting and hurting and blaming and killing and doing things like that, we create a condition that bad karmic results will appear. If you are hurting and you are lazy and you are bad, then your bad karmic condition of your past can appear. But if you are good and noble and you are trying to help and caring and sharing and loving, then your good karmic condition can appear. That's the condition that will give you happiness. Good results will appear. Bad results will appear due to the condition. So you have to make the correct condition. That's why we need to do so much good. When we do so much good to others, then the right condition, good conditions will appear and good vipaka will manifest. If you do wrong things and hurt and blame and scold and worry, then your bad karmic results will appear. Because that's a condition that bad karma can manifest. If you have, say you are in a drinking den, then the conditions are there, you might be caught by the police. That condition is there. If you are here in this Buddhist Mahavihara, your conditions are right. The devas might protect you and no police can hold you. Because here the conditions are conducive to good vipaka. The other conditions are conducive to bad vipaka. That's why it is necessary that we must create the right condition. So you get good things coming. Huh? So we have we are not completely under the, we are not sort of fatalistic on this. We can't allow it to fate. We can create good conditions that will manifest good results. We can create bad conditions that will manifest bad results. So it is not divine ordination and it is not fatalistic. Karma is not fatalistic and not divine ordination, but it is self-created. Okay. So we can create the right condition for good things to happen. Okay? Any other questions?
Are there any more questions? I'd like to follow to one. Venerable here. So everyone is clear on what Venerable has enlightened us for today. Topic on impermanence, non-self, the causes of unsatisfactoriness in life. If there's no more questions, I would like to do a roundup before we say thank you to Venerable. Venerable has enlightened us saying that impermanence is always, meaning is always changing. Non-self is a nothing belongs.